When was the last time that you went back to the basics? Not because you had to, but because you want to become better. So I hadn't the whole script written down for this, but I want this to be the most natural as possible. So today I'm going back to the basics. I've been cutting hair for such a long time, and I kind of got like lost on my system, on my technique, and I decided to go back to the foundation where everything started. The goal of this is like to train myself again because I got caught up in so many things going on, cutting hair, right? After a few years cutting hair, I realized that's like, with experience, you can get a little comfortable and stop training, stop learning, you stop get yourself a little bit more. It's not that you don't know what you're doing, you just have more control. So I cut myself, how can I say, a little bit like out of my system, out of my way of cutting hair. And I decided to share with you guys how I train myself when I get caught up in the moment that's like, because for me, it feels that my system is not working anymore with my technique and make sure that everything is on point, my sectioning. I don't know what happened. I just felt that's like it wasn't working for me anymore. And the way that I get is going back and doing everything again, training myself with the foundations because, without the foundation, we're nothing, right? Understanding again my over direction because for me now, it's just to get my technique better because once I get my technique better, I can do a better haircut. The biggest thing for me now is like getting my body position, hand position, head position, all these affects the shape because by training myself, it just goes naturally, right? I don't have to be like overthinking everything I do. It's just, you see why I have to train because see, even the control, I had a system where I would section the hair very quickly. Keep asking myself what happened to me with the all my technique. I think I learned. Check for balance. There we go. So like I said, I'm gonna be working just on the back panel today, because I want to because once I get the back panel done properly, and having control, okay? For me today, I'm gonna be doing this, approaching this both sides in a different way. So I learned two different ways of square layer, right? One, I cut it this way. It's just, the result is the same. It's just a different approach. So these sides, I have a big panel, and there's a big panel in here divided right on the radial. And this one was more in the curvature of the head. So I'm gonna section the back right in the middle. And both sides are gonna be approached differently, starting on the nape and the other side going straight to layering because I want to see the difference at the end. What's gonna happen, okay? So let's start with this side because again, the goal here is to learn. Let's get to let's start creating my profile guide, my first cutting section. Because I can go straight to layering like I'm doing right now, or I can go directly to, or I can create my external shape first to control the head. Okay, that being said, this is my first section. I'm not gonna take too much out because I want to use this mannequin a little more, making sure that my people think that's easy. I like to train a lot. Of course, training in a mannequin is a little bit different than a real person. Let's go for the next section. Have a better. So at this point, it's like, okay, I got my section number one. I know this is considered flat. So they meet in the middle, right? So another thing is the comb, right? Again, sometimes I get myself doing this, you can, but it's just if you're not thinking, if you're talking to your client and you're not thinking really well, you might over direct, and then at the end when you realize you create a round shape instead of a square, right? So depending on the head shape, I just over direct on my section number 3, because the count, adding the numbers help me understand this. Like most of the people that I cut, the section number 3 forward, right, I have to over direct. So this all goes on depending on the head shape. That's why you need to understand the head shape, but I normally start already over directing a little bit, because this way it's easy for me a little bit when I have to refine, then I have to fix the whole thing because I didn't over direct enough, making sure that I have enough hair where I can see my guide. Yeah, it's like, so now I'm gonna divide this two sections. I don't want to put them together with the other side just yet. This is all for, getting back to the basics, getting my technique better, because it got a little sloppy, right? And we call this technique with the comb push and pull technique, right? Because if I grab the head this way, naturally I'm over directing, right? So, and that's not the goal. The goal is to over direct toward my body, because I'm working the other sides of the panel, and you guys gonna realize that most of the time I am standing on that side for both panel. I'm gonna be uploading days 3 times a week. I'm gonna do my training Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm gonna be uploading this 3 times a week. And on Sunday, my goal is to do a live and do the whole hairstyle again at once. I'm gonna be doing a live stream. I'm not speeding because I'm not working on the speed right now. I'm just trying to get the control, the tension, my fingers, creating this muscle memory on my finger again, because it's very important. I'm gonna try to keep these videos at least under 10 minutes. Don't be too long, I'm almost done with this panel. Then we're gonna check, see how ended. So at this point of the head, I over direct a little bit more because the head travels way more, right? So when I'm doing the live stream, I'm gonna be going over, I'm gonna have 2 cameras, one on the top and one over there where you guys can see everything from above. So just make sure that you guys tuning in, and we're done with this side. Okay, so let's cross check. Let's check this. See there? Extend a little bit. Why? Because of my over direction, it was too much. So while we go here, 90 degrees from the head, this is just tiny little bit. When I cross check, I'll go 90 degrees from the head, because that's how we pull the hair vertically. Very good. Nice. So I wanted this more texturized and a square on the nape. Okay, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna point cut it. Okay, just like so. Over direction, because I want a square line in the back. Straight down, guys. You can use your finger or you can use the comb. Now over direct this straight back and point cut it. profile guide. This is a very important thing, right? So I created my line technique. Now I'm gonna start layering. Okay, so if I go and cut it right here, what I did here, it doesn't make sense, right? So I'm gonna look for the longest of the shortest piece, like just right. Let's drop this out. When I was cutting that side, the spine of my comb was away from my body and I was pulling the head toward me, right? So now, because I'm working on that side and I have to over direct this way, I'm gonna grab the head this way, because by doing that, naturally I over direct. Because if I do this, I'm gonna over direct this way and I might create a round shape. So let's pick this up. Like we always say, you don't see the guy, don't cut it. Take a little short, right there. You know, cutting a little fast, we don't pay attention. My guide is from behind. That's my guide. Everything is nice and neat. That's my guide. Boom. And introduce section number 3. Let's take this off. We're trained to do better. Section by section, controlling the shape. Make sure everything is nice and organized, you know, because like I normally say, you control the hair, not the hair controls you. Tricky sometimes. There we go. Just remember the push and pull technique. You know, make sure it's square. Watch the roots, find your guide. Then make my incision. This is also a last section. And again, make sure, you know, like, subscribe, share to your friends. You know what I mean? That's like this series I decided to call this series Going Back to the Basics, right? Because I'm going back to the basics over here, you know, and the goal is to keep going, you know, after they do the basics, you know, start posting some more like advanced things for you guys. But this is to show you how I train myself, because I decided to go back training myself again because I need it. Okay, we are done on this side. Okay, now let's cross check. Let's go across. Let's see how I did. A little bit to refine. So I was talking too much and forgot to pay attention. So look what happened. I didn't over direct enough for the last one. It created a round shape. That's why we're training, guys. Because I was talking, you see what I said? I'm talking, and I forgot to over direct. See that? That's what is this for? Training. The other side I did way better. Same thing. See, this is because of the nape. Okay, let's see both together now. See, on these sides we work on the external, these sides we didn't. But even though I didn't cut both together, I can see that they're almost the same. I'm gonna look at this way. Okay, you guys, this is gonna be it for today. I'll be doing this again on Wednesday. It changed a little bit the plan. Actually, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna be repeating this. I'm gonna repost it again until I get it right. I won't move to the next side until I get this completely right. So stay tuned. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.